Hello everyone, we're Matt and Lori from the Kula farm and we're back with another garden update. The last one was early summer, now we're midsummer and we'll show you what's been growing at the Farm Without Borders. This is a part of the Kula farm where it's open to the public and our neighbors actually come here to forage and browse to see what's in season.
Now that it's midsummer and we've had a few good rains here in the garden, we've got lots of things blooming, lots of things are growing, we're harvesting lots. So we can show you around and we can show you the difference between this tour and last time we talked to you. So I believe these plants were a lot smaller the last time you saw them. Now they're big, they're growing all over. We have to train them and we're harvesting from them almost every day. And a lot of these are getting donated to our food pantry. We have more cucumbers here and here, which we're picking every day. As you can see, our flowers are in full bloom. Our kale plants are very large now. And we're still planting as the summer goes on. So we're harvesting, but we're also planting new plants. Around me, we have our ground cherry plants. We actually don't even really plant these. They just kind of volunteer and we've just kind of maintained them in these rows. But they produce this really delicious little fruit. They're in this tomato family, so they look like a tomato plant, but they're closer to the ground. And the reason why they're called ground cherries is because as the fruit ripens, it falls off the plant and falls on the ground. And you can find some ripe fruit by just picking the plant up, and you see all these little fruits on the ground here. You can peel them open and it's like a real treat. It's something really delicious. My daughter loves them. All the kids who taste them love them. It's like farm candy. Here we have our sweet potatoes, which we talked about last time. They were just planted and they were just barely little leaves, one or two on each plant. But now, as you can see, they're vining all over and we'll dig them up in about, probably a month or so. They still have a good while to grow, but they're happy and doing great here on this hill. Here I am in front of our chard plants. They're really happy right now too. And this is the green that is available to us during the summer, so that's really nice. Most other greens don't like this warmer weather, but the chard's doing great and we get to pick from it very often. Standing here with this giant elderberry bush behind me. I think I showed them to you last time and they were not ripe. Now the berries are ripening. There's this deep black purple color to them. They're ripe, but they're actually not ready to eat. You cannot eat the berries straight from this plant. If you do, you'll get really upset stomach. So the only way to get the benefits from the elderberry, which we all have heard of, is the immune system boosting, and it's just lots of vitamins and minerals in these berries. The only way to get those benefits is to cook it first. So what we'll do is we'll come through and we'll harvest as many of these berries as we can, and then we'll have a workshop teaching people how to use the berries. All right, over here in this part of the garden, we've got our Malabar spinach vining on the ground. If you remember, we were talking about how that plant grows low to the ground, and we've interplanted it with our okra that's starting to grow even higher. And as the season goes on, this plant, all the okra plants, will grow high up into the air, and so we'll take advantage of that spacing again. And the okra plants are really starting to produce now. We're picking them almost every day as well. And as it gets deeper into the summer and even into the fall, we'll have more okra. Our Malabar spinach is vining everywhere too, and we had the kids from KYDS camp come out here and taste it. This is another green that's available to us during the summer, so we're constantly picking this and donating it to the food pantry. It's growing really well right now, so we're cutting it every week and donating pounds and pounds of it. And then next to me here, we have some of our winter squash that we planted back in the beginning of the summer. They were small little plants. Now the plants are much larger, but it's still not time for them yet. They're still working on growing. Their fruit are just barely growing right now. They still won't be ready till probably about the beginning of the fall or mid-fall. So here we have one of our infamous farm pests. This is the squash bug. It really likes cucurbits, so anything in the squash family. This is a squash plant, but you can find it also on your cucumbers, your all different types of squashes, your summer squash, your fall squash. And here are its eggs. So this is the adult, and then they lay their eggs in this very certain way. It kind of looks like perfect little rows here. And you'll find them, if you find them on the underside of your leaves, you can just rub them off and it'll reduce the amount of pests in your garden. I'm over here in our designated flower field at Kula Farm. This field is across the street from the Farm Without Borders. This was given to us by Asbury Park to grow these flowers on. Unfortunately, we had the soil tested and the soil is not ideal for growing vegetables, so we decided instead of growing edibles, we'll grow flowers instead and work on the soil as we do. So we keep adding wood chips to this plot every season, and as they break down, we're going to help rid the soil of some of its toxins. But in the meantime, we're growing these beautiful flowers. You can come and enjoy them, take pictures of them. They're all blooming right now. We've got all kinds of pollinators around. It's really a sight to see, so if you're in the neighborhood, come check out the flowers. So if you really like flowers, you can look out on our website for our upcoming events. We are trying to plan a wildflower arranging workshop here in the future. And that's just one of the workshops we're going to be doing. We do all kinds of things. We do cooking classes. We try to get yoga classes happening. Any kind of subject that interests the community, we try to host that. So look on our website for them in the future. Probably around September we'll be starting them up. That'll be the best time. Right now it's a little too warm, but September's nice. We also have lots of classes for kids. We have our Kula Club for kids, and I teach a homeschool class every week, and those classes will be starting in September too. So make sure you check the website, kulafarm.org. We'll have all kinds of things, events happening, and you can probably find something that interests you, and all of those classes and workshops are free and open to the public. An example of a crop that is not ideal for summer. So this is our lettuce that we had planted earlier in the spring, and it was doing well then, but now that it's heating up, you can see it's starting to flower. And when lettuce gets to this point where it starts to rise up like this and wants to put a flower on, that's when you're going to want to stop harvesting from it. It's gonna be bitter, so at that point, you know, it's time's up. You can pull it out of the ground, compost what's left of it, and start a new crop here. I'm over here across the street at our Kula garden with our tomato plants. We have some plants here, and these are some of the different types of tomatoes that we've been picking. We only have a few tomato plants, so we offer them for sale on our website to the public. So if you want some of our tomatoes or anything else that's in season that we offer, you can check out our shop Kula and order something by Wednesday, and then we'll have it ready for you to pick up on Friday. And it's all fresh local produce that has the best flavor and the best nutrients, and you can support a really great cause while you're doing it.
All right, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed that update. We'll probably do one more in the fall when there's even more crops in season and are ready to harvest. If you want to see this garden in real life, you have the opportunity to come by Friday, September 22nd, when we have another cocktail party here. Tickets will be available in the store.
Yeah.